Juan, Pat, it's hard to understate the importance of this because it is so unusual for a nation's top military leader to break with the president. And in this case, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff saying quite simply, I made a mistake and I'm sorry.
Your reaction to Milley.
While leaving the White House for a roundtable on police and race in Dallas, President Trump had nothing to say about stunning comments from his top military official.
As a commissioned uniformed officer, it was a mistake that I have learned from, and I sincerely hope we all can learn from it.
General Mark Milley, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, expressed remorse for joining the president during this controversial photo op in front of St. John's Church last Monday, just moments after police used force to clear protesters nearby to make way for the president's walk to the church.
I should not have been there. My presence in that moment and in that environment created a perception of the military involved in domestic politics.
General Milley and Defense Secretary Mark Esper had not even planned to be there. CBS News is reporting they were on their way to the FBI's Washington field office when the call came from the White House to change course. The Pentagon and President Trump are also at odds on whether to rename 10 bases named after Confederate figures. The president rejected the idea after Esper and the Secretary of the Army said they were open to it. Today, the Senate Armed Services Committee approved a measure to do so. South Dakota Republican Mike Rounds.
This is the right time for it, and I think it sends the right message.
The president is still calling for an aggressive response to demonstrators, this time in Seattle, after ridiculing Washington State's governor for being taunted and played by protesters.
Got to have some strength. You have to have strength. You have to do what you have to do.
President Trump made the remarks in Dallas at a meeting about race relations and law enforcement. Notably, the city's police chief, sheriff, and district attorney, all of whom are African American, were not invited. On CNN tonight, Sheriff Marion Brown was asked why she thinks she was not invited.
I'm not sure, and so I can speculate as to why I was not invited, but what I will say is that when you initiate a conversation and you purport that conversation to be about racism and policing in America, and you fail to include the top 3 law enforcement officials in an area where you are speaking, I think that says a lot, and that causes one to raise the brow.
In today's roundtable in Dallas, the president continued his call for a strong police response to demonstrators.
We have to dominate the streets. You can't let that happen, what happened in New York City, the damage they've done. You have to dominate the streets. We're doing it with compassion. If you think about it, we're dominating the street with compassion because we're saving lives.
It's political pyromania. This is not somebody who wants to lower the temperature or move progress forward. He wants to turn up the heat.
Tonight on CNN, Mayor Eric Garcetti responded to the president's call for police to dominate with compassion.
I don't think any of us who exercise compassion try to dominate with compassion. It just shows the heart of what this administration has been about. It's about winning at all costs. It's been about dividing us. We need to heal the soul of America right now. We need to step forward into a true multiracial democracy.
Tonight, the president also referred to the slogan, defund the police.
We're not defunding police. If anything, we're going the other route. We're going to make sure that our police are well-trained, perfectly trained, they have the best equipment.
Mayor Garcetti responded to that as well.
You can support public safety and reimagine it at the same time. You can make sure that the heroic moments where we need police officers to intervene to help people who have been the victims of violent crime or caught in sex trafficking or a domestic violence situation are there. But should we be putting our police officers on the line to solve mental health problems, to deal with homelessness? Maybe there's a smarter way that's better for our police officers and for our public to look at the future.
So notice that Mayor Garcetti is not using the word defund police. I think many are suggesting that that notion, defund police, is misinterpreted and believing that maybe some folks would like to simply get rid of police altogether. He's using another term. We're probably going to be hearing a lot more of that coming up in the future, and that is, rather than defund the police, what the mayor is saying is reimagine exactly what police can do to help us in this society. Let's go back to you.